Thank you for choosing Wisdom of the Dharma. If you found this video insightful, hit the like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications, so you never miss a new update. Your support helps us keep sharing powerful, life-changing wisdom with the world. And don't forget to drop a comment below. We'd love to hear your thoughts. Let's grow and learn together. The silent force in your kitchen. Have you ever wondered if something as ordinary as your fridge could be quietly shaping the course of your financial life? I'm not talking about what's inside the fridge. I'm talking about what's on top of it. There's an ancient secret, passed down through both spiritual lineages and Feng Shui traditions, that suggests placing one specific item on your fridge can completely shift the energetic current of your home. It can open the gates of fortune, invite wealth in like a steady stream, and transform your space into a magnet for prosperity. I know, it sounds unbelievable. But let me tell you a story. In a small rural village in Thailand, an elderly monk once visited a struggling family. Their business was failing, their children were sick often, and their meals were scarce. The monk looked around the house silently, and then walked up to the kitchen. He placed a small ceramic jar on top of their fridge and said, "Now, fortune will remember where you live." 3 months later, not only had their business recovered, they were doing better than ever. Strangers would stop by their little shop and say, "I don't know why, but something drew me in." Coincidence? Or is there something more mysterious going on with this simple household appliance? Today, on Wisdom of the Dharma, we'll uncover how the refrigerator, yes, your fridge, can become a sacred beacon of abundance when you know how to use it with intention. Before we begin, I want you to pause for a moment and declare your readiness to receive. In the comments below, write a simple affirmation like, "I am ready to receive wealth and peace." Or, "I open my home to abundant energy." Why do this? Because every declaration is a small ripple in the energetic field, and when spoken with awareness, it can shift everything. Also, if this is your first time here, or even if you've been quietly following us, please take a second to like this video and subscribe to the channel. We're building a global space of wisdom, where ancient Buddhist principles, Feng Shui teachings, and modern mindfulness meet to help you live with power, peace, and prosperity. Alright, are you ready to discover the hidden power in your kitchen? Let's begin. Part 1. Why the fridge matters in spiritual energy. At first glance, the refrigerator seems like the most mundane object in your home, just a box of humming metal that keeps your leftovers fresh. But in both Buddhist philosophy and Feng Shui science, there are no truly mundane objects. Everything that exists, every shape, color, placement, and function, radiates an energy field. And the fridge? It's far more than a place to chill your food. It's one of the most underestimated energy anchors in your entire home. Let me explain. In Buddhist psychology, there's a concept known as ahara, which refers to nourishment. But nourishment isn't limited to food. We are fed by sights, thoughts, intentions, and the physical spaces around us. Your refrigerator, then, becomes a mirror of your relationship to nourishment, not just what you consume, but how you allow abundance to flow through your life. In the teachings of the 5 aggregates, form, feeling, perception, mental formations, consciousness, the body is merely the outer shell of experience. But it's also the first gate through which we understand the Dharma. How we feed this body, where food is stored, how it is prepared, how it is received, shapes our energetic relationship to life itself. The fridge becomes a symbolic altar of sustenance. Think about it, every time you open the door of your fridge, you're subconsciously asking, "What do I have?" And that question becomes a mantra. When your fridge is clean, organized, and well stocked with food you love and respect, the message to the universe is clear. I am in harmony with receiving. But when it's messy, forgotten, or empty, the energy becomes one of lack, confusion, and spiritual starvation. In Feng Shui, the fridge is aligned with the metal element, which governs wealth, clarity, and containment. It symbolizes your vault, your treasure chest. But unlike a locked safe, this vault is accessed daily. It's living, breathing. It feeds the entire family. That's why it's considered one of the 3 core energy centers of a household, alongside the stove and the front entrance. A neglected fridge doesn't just speak of bad housekeeping, it radiates an energy of insecurity. Let me offer a Buddhist parable to deepen this. A disciple once asked his teacher, "Where do I place my sacred items?" The master replied, "Wherever your attention returns each day, there lies your altar." The disciple asked, "But isn't my altar the shrine in my meditation room?" The teacher smiled. "If you visit your fridge more than your shrine, then perhaps your fridge is your true altar." That's the power of mindfulness. That's the essence of Feng Shui. You see, it's not about superstition. It's about intention. It's about the energetic imprint of how you interact with your space. So if your fridge represents abundance, then placing objects on it, intentionally, symbolically, isn't just decor. It's a declaration. It's a vow to nourish yourself and your household, not just physically, but energetically, spiritually, and emotionally. In the next part of this video, we'll reveal 7 powerful items, each one rich with meaning and energetic frequency, that when placed correctly on or near your fridge, can shift the current of fortune in your life. But before we do that, take one last look at your fridge, mentally or physically. Ask yourself, does this object reflect the energy I want to invite into my life? If the answer is no, don't worry. You're about to learn exactly how to transform it. Let's continue. Part 2, Introduction, 7 Sacred Objects that Unlock Wealth. Now that we understand the fridge as more than just an appliance, as a true symbol of nourishment and abundance, one question remains. What can we place on it to awaken its full energetic potential? Across generations, spiritual teachers and Feng Shui masters have pointed to simple yet powerful items, each one chosen not for superstition, but for the energy it holds and the intention it carries. In this part of the journey, we'll explore 7 sacred objects you can place on your fridge to activate wealth, invite balance, and transform your kitchen into a quiet altar of prosperity. Let's begin with the first. A jar of sacred rice or salt. Number 1. A jar of sacred rice or salt. Let's start with something incredibly simple, but deeply powerful. A small glass jar, filled with either uncooked rice or coarse sea salt. That's it. You might already have both in your kitchen right now. But when used with intention, this little jar becomes one of the most potent tools for attracting wealth and stability into your home. In Buddhist teachings, rice is more than just food. It symbolizes life. It represents the energy of nourishment, both physical and spiritual. Remember, the Buddha's path to enlightenment began with a humble bowl of rice offered by a young girl. It was a turning point, a moment of returning to balance. Salt, meanwhile, has long been used across cultures to cleanse spaces, absorb negative energy, and restore purity. It doesn't just season food, it preserves, it protects, it purifies. So when you place a jar of rice or salt on top of your fridge, you're doing something far greater than decorating. You're declaring, this home is open to nourishment. This space is protected. Wealth flows here. Now, let's talk about how to do it right. Use a glass or ceramic jar. Not plastic. Fill it halfway with uncooked white rice or natural sea salt. You can even drop a coin inside, a small symbol of financial intention. Some also like to add a bay leaf or a pinch of cinnamon to activate abundance energy. Then, place the jar on the top of your fridge, ideally in the back left corner. That's considered the wealth area in Feng Shui. And here's the key: set it with presence. Don't just toss it up there. Hold it for a moment. Whisper a wish. Invite prosperity in. Keep the jar clean. Replace the rice if it molds. Change the salt every few months to keep the energy fresh. This isn't magic. It's mindfulness. It's energy. It's the quiet power of intention working through the objects we live with every day. Simple. Sacred. Effective. Let's move to the next item, a living burst of prosperity known as the Scarlet Star plant. Number 2. The Scarlet Star plant. Next, we turn to something alive, breathing, growing, a plant known for its striking color and even more striking energy, the Scarlet Star. This vibrant plant isn't just beautiful. In Feng Shui, it's believed to radiate the energy of prosperity, motivation, and forward momentum. Its bold red hue symbolizes good luck, while the star-like shape reflects the idea of rising up, of beginnings that lead to abundance. But let's go deeper. Plants are living symbols. They absorb energy, release oxygen, and literally change the air in our space. The Scarlet Star, when placed on top of your refrigerator, becomes a living declaration that your home is ready to grow, not just in greenery, but in wealth, clarity, and joy. Why the fridge? Because in Feng Shui, the refrigerator belongs to the metal element. And metal is closely tied to money. Placing a wealth-attracting plant on top helps activate that energy and circulate it through your home. It's like planting a seed of fortune right where your nourishment begins. To do this properly, place the plant in a red or gold container, colors that reinforce prosperity. Then set it in the center or back left corner of the fridge's top surface. Want to take it further? Slip a few coins or a folded blessing note underneath the pot. It's not about superstition, it's about layering intention. Now, don't forget, this is a living being. Keep it healthy. Water it. Let it see the light. A withered plant doesn't attract wealth, it reflects neglect. But a thriving one becomes a magnet for growth, creativity, and financial flow. The Scarlet Star isn't loud. It doesn't shout. But its energy speaks volumes, if you know how to listen. In the next part, we'll look at something even simpler and more personal, your own money. Placed with care, even a single bill can become a symbol of infinite flow. Let's explore. Number 3. Coins and money in a blessing box. Now let's talk about something we all recognize, money itself. But instead of chasing it, what if we honored it? In Feng Shui and Buddhist-inspired practices, the way we treat money, physically, shapes how it flows into our lives. And one of the most powerful ways to invite more of it is surprisingly simple. Place a small blessing box with real money on top of your fridge. Here's why this works. Your refrigerator represents nourishment. Your money represents opportunity. When you unite them in a place of respect, you create a magnetic field of abundance. But it's not just about tossing cash up there. This is about ritual. Choose a small red or gold box, colors that resonate with prosperity. Inside, place a few clean, uncrumpled bills. Add coins if you'd like. Even better, include something meaningful, a note of gratitude, a small mantra, or a symbolic item that connects you to your financial dreams. Place the box on the left or center of your fridge's top surface, the wealth area. And here's the secret, don't think of it as hiding money. Think of it as seeding wealth. This is your energetic statement to the universe. There is always enough. I honor what I have. I am open to more. If you run a business, you can add your business card. If you're saving for something special, place a photo of that goal inside. You're not just storing money. You're charging it with intention. And don't forget to keep it tidy. A messy box reflects chaotic finances. But a neat, sacred space? That invites clarity and flow. Before we move to the next object, take a moment now to support this space of wisdom we're creating together. If this message resonates with you, like this video and subscribe to the channel. Let's grow in fortune and awareness together. Now, let's explore how crystals, born deep within the earth, can amplify the energy of wealth like nothing else. Number 4. The citrine crystal, stone of manifestation. Let's turn now to something born of the earth. A crystal formed over thousands of years, carrying within it a quiet, golden fire. This is citrine, the stone of manifestation. In both Feng Shui and spiritual energy work, citrine is known as a crystal that resonates strongly with abundance, clarity, and purposeful action. It doesn't just sit quietly, it radiates. Its warm, golden tone reflects the color of sunlight, harvest, and wealth. In Buddhist symbolism, yellow is linked to mental clarity, openness, and the ability to transform intention into action. Citrine embodies all of this. So why place it on your fridge? The refrigerator is a container of nourishment. Citrine is a generator of prosperity. Together, they create a field where resources multiply, not just food, but financial flow, creative ideas, and unexpected blessings. Here's how to use it. Find a natural citrine crystal, ideally tumbled smooth or in a polished point. Don't worry about size. What matters is quality and intention. Before placing it, take a moment. Hold the crystal in your hands. Close your eyes. Speak a quiet intention, like, I allow wealth to grow in all forms. I welcome flow, not just money, but peace and possibility. Then place the citrine on top of your fridge, again, in the back left or center spot. You can place it directly, or set it on a small cloth, red, gold, or even white if you prefer purity. For extra energy, add a coin, a blessing note, or even a tiny piece of cinnamon or bay leaf beside it. What makes citrine unique is that it doesn't just attract wealth, it helps you align with it mentally. It encourages wise decisions. It brings clarity. Many business owners keep it on their desks, but your fridge? That's where family prosperity lives. And one more thing, citrine doesn't need constant cleansing like some other stones. Its energy is self-clearing, but it never hurts to give it a moment of sunlight or a gentle rinse now and then, just to refresh its vibration. It may just be a stone, but it's a reminder, quiet and golden, that wealth begins not in our wallets, but in our awareness. In the next segment, we'll meet a mythical creature said to spit gold and protect your fortune, the legendary money toad. Stay with us. Number 5. The three-legged money toad, guardian of wealth. Now we come to something a little more mystical. A creature from ancient legend. Small, odd-looking, and yet deeply respected in the world of Feng Shui and spiritual symbolism. This is the three-legged money toad, also known as Chan Chu. If you've ever seen a small figurine of a frog with 3 legs, often sitting on a pile of coins and holding a coin in its mouth, that's him. This isn't a decoration. It's a symbol of protection and prosperity, with a powerful story behind it. According to legend, this creature was once a greedy spirit. But after being tamed by a wise immortal, It vowed to repay its karmic debt by spitting out gold and bringing fortune to those who honored it. That's why the money toad is never just placed anywhere, it's invited in with respect. So why place it on top of your fridge? Well, think about what we've already explored. The fridge represents nourishment, abundance, and family flow. Adding the money toad to this space doesn't just invite wealth, it guards it. It acts like a spiritual sentry, keeping good fortune in and preventing it from slipping away. Here's how to work with it. First, choose a money toad made from ceramic, metal, or resin. It should have 3 legs, not 4. The coin in its mouth should face up or out slightly. Place it on the top of your refrigerator, but make sure it's facing inward, not toward the door. That's the key. You want it bringing wealth into the home, not letting it escape. Position it in the back left corner if possible, or the center. These are wealth activating zones. You can also enhance the energy by placing a small red cloth underneath, or surrounding the toad with a few coins, a bay leaf, or a blessing note. And here's something many people forget: keep it clean. Dust and dirt weaken the energy. Once a week, give it a gentle wipe. Treat it like a sacred object, not a trinket. Some say this toad is just folklore. But to those who practice with mindfulness, it becomes something more, a daily reminder that prosperity isn't just about luck. It's about protection, intention, discipline. Even in ancient Buddhist stories, wealth was never rejected. It was embraced when used to support the Dharma, nourish others, and bring stability to life. So invite the toad. Let it guard your blessings. Next, we'll explore the deep, dark stone that absorbs negativity and locks in abundance, the powerful black obsidian. Let's continue. Number 6. Black obsidian, the shield of prosperity. Let's take a turn inward now. From gold and fire to something deeper. Still, almost mysterious. This is black obsidian, a volcanic glass formed when molten lava cools so fast, it doesn't even have time to crystallize. And just like its origin, obsidian is fast in its purpose, clearing out what no longer serves you. While many objects on this list attract wealth, obsidian protects it. It's not a magnet. It's a shield. In Buddhist philosophy, protection isn't always about avoiding harm. It's about cultivating clarity, cutting through illusion, and staying grounded in truth. That's what obsidian does. It clears stagnant energy, absorbs negativity, and strengthens your inner stability, financial and otherwise. So what happens when you place obsidian on top of your fridge? You create a boundary, a spiritual perimeter, an energetic message that says, this space is safe. Money can stay here. Energy can settle. And because the fridge is tied to the metal element, which governs wealth in Feng Shui, the addition of obsidian brings balance. Metal without grounding can become scattered. Obsidian brings it back to earth. Here's how to use it. Choose a smooth, polished obsidian stone. A sphere works beautifully, or even a small flat palm stone. Avoid jagged edges. We want the energy to flow, not spike. Place the stone directly on top of your fridge, ideally near the center or left side. You can set it on a piece of red or gold cloth to enhance its stabilizing power. Want to boost it even more? Tuck a few coins or a blessing card underneath. Think of it as an energetic stack, protection beneath prosperity. Before placing the stone, take a breath. Hold it. Say something like, I release chaos. I welcome calm. I allow wealth to rest here. One last thing, obsidian needs cleansing. Every few weeks, rinse it in sea salt water, leave it under sunlight for a few hours, or pass it through incense smoke. Because it absorbs so much, it must be emptied to stay effective. Obsidian isn't flashy. It doesn't sparkle or glow. But that's its power. It teaches us that true wealth often comes not from what we gain, but from what we release. Next, we'll explore the final item on our list. A humble little plant with round green leaves and a surprisingly rich energy. The marsh pennywort. Let's continue. Number 7. The marsh pennywort, nature's symbol of continuous wealth. We end our list with something soft, green, and quietly powerful, the marsh pennywort, a modest little plant with round leaves shaped like coins. It doesn't demand attention. It doesn't bloom with loud colors. But its presence speaks of steady growth, gentle wealth, and the slow but sure unfolding of abundance. In many cultures, this plant is considered a natural symbol of financial flow. Its coin-like leaves represent not just money, but money that stays, circulates, and multiplies. In Chinese and Southeast Asian traditions, it's seen as a plant of living fortune, one that grows slowly but surely, just like real prosperity. And when placed on top of the refrigerator, its energy becomes magnified. Why? Because the fridge represents sustenance. The marsh pennywort represents continual financial nourishment. The two energies combine beautifully, offering a signal to the universe that this home is rooted, balanced, and ready to receive. Here's how to bring this plant into your space with intention. Start with a small, healthy marsh pennywort plant in a ceramic or clay pot. Avoid oversized pots, they can overwhelm the fridge's energy. Choose a red, green, or gold container to enhance wealth alignment. Place the pot in the back left or center area on top of the fridge. This is your energetic wealth zone. To strengthen its influence, slip a few small Feng Shui coins or a written affirmation underneath the pot. Something as simple as, "May wealth grow gently and steadily in this home." And most importantly, care for it. This plant needs regular watering and light. If it dries out or turns yellow, it can symbolically reflect a dip in your household energy. Keep it vibrant. In return, it holds space for your prosperity to stay just as alive. And don't underestimate this quiet greenery. Some of the most consistent, successful people don't chase wealth, they grow it, just like this plant. Slowly, patiently, rooted in care. The marsh pennywort reminds us that abundance isn't always dramatic. Sometimes, it's found in stillness, in attention, in how we water what we already have. Now that we've explored all 7 sacred objects, let's take a step back and reflect. How do these simple items, when placed with mindfulness, begin to shift the very energy of your home? But before we do, if you found value in this journey, please like this video and subscribe to Wisdom of the Dharma. In the next section, we'll reveal how to avoid the biggest mistakes people make when placing their fridge, and how to protect your energy flow from silently leaking away. Let's continue. Part 3, the energetic rules of the fridge, placement, protection, and the power of color. Now that we've explored what to place on your fridge, let's turn to the fridge itself. In both Buddhist and Feng Shui traditions, an object's power lies not only in what it is, but where it's placed and how it interacts with the surrounding space. Your fridge isn't just cold storage, it's a living symbol of nourishment, financial flow, and emotional grounding. Its placement, environment, and even its color all play a role in shaping the energy of your home. Let's explore 8 key principles to ensure your fridge supports, not disrupts, your prosperity. 1. Never face the fridge toward the main door. The front door is the gateway for energy into your home. When your fridge faces it directly, that energy enters and exits just as fast. The result? Income may come, but it's hard to hold on to. If you can't reposition the fridge, soften the energy line by placing a tall plant, screen, or light curtain between the two. 2. Keep the fridge out of the bedroom. A fridge in the bedroom introduces noise, coldness, and electromagnetic activity, disrupting rest, intimacy, and emotional peace. Over time, it can impact sleep and relationships. If it must stay, place it far from the bed, cover it when possible, and limit its sensory impact. 3. Avoid placing it too close to the stove. The stove represents fire. The fridge, a mix of metal and water. When placed too close together, these elements clash, leading to tension, arguments, or financial instability. Keep them at least a few feet apart. If that's not possible, separate them with a wood element, like a bamboo plant or wooden cutting board. 4. Don't place it in your prayer or meditation room. Sacred spaces require stillness. But fridges vibrate, hum, and disrupt subtle energy. If space is limited, clearly define boundaries. Raise your altar, use visual dividers, or turn your meditation area away from any appliances. 5. Avoid placing it directly opposite the stove or sink. Directly facing the stove or sink creates energetic tension, fire and water staring each other down. This may show up as stress, conflict, or unstable finances. Break the line of sight using plants, fabric panels, or even a piece of art to interrupt the opposing forces. 6. Don't let it sit in a dark or damp corner. Dark, unventilated spaces hold stagnant energy. If your fridge sits in such a spot, that heaviness can ripple outward, affecting mood, health, and wealth flow. Open a window nearby, clean behind the fridge regularly, and burn incense or light a candle occasionally to refresh the space. 7. Balance the inside of your fridge. Your fridge's contents reflect your internal state. An empty fridge speaks of lack. An overfilled one blocks energy. Keep it stocked, but with space to breathe. Use clear containers, arrange it with care, and take a moment of gratitude before closing the door. Even leftovers, when blessed with presence, become abundance. 8. Let color support your element. Even your fridge's color has influence. In Feng Shui, your birth element, metal, wood, water, fire, or earth, interacts with color. Choose one that complements your nature. Metal, white, silver, gray. Water, black, navy. Wood, green or wood tones, avoid metal colors. Fire, red, orange, warm hues. Earth, yellow, beige, brown. Color may seem subtle, but it shapes emotion and focus. When your environment reflects your essence, alignment becomes natural. Final thoughts. When we ignore the placement of the fridge, we're not just making a design mistake, we may be unintentionally disrupting the flow of abundance in our lives. But when we treat this everyday object with care, when we position it well, respect its boundaries, and feed it with attention, it becomes more than a kitchen appliance. It becomes a symbol, a sacred vessel that holds the energy of nourishment, generosity, and prosperity. So look around your home now. Where is your fridge? What's near it? What story is it silently telling about your relationship to wealth? And if it needs to be rebalanced, know that the shift doesn't require force. Just a little space, a little presence, and a willingness to treat the ordinary as sacred. Let's move forward to reflect on what all of this means, and how to weave it into your daily practice of living mindfully with energy. But before we go on, if you've been enjoying this journey, now's the perfect time to like this video and subscribe to Wisdom of the Dharma. Your presence and support allow us to keep sharing teachings that bridge the ancient and the everyday. Let's continue. Part 4. Daily Rituals and Real Stories. Let wealth flow through presence. So you've placed your sacred objects. You've adjusted your fridge's placement, cleared the clutter, aligned the colors. But now comes the most important part. Consistency. Presence. Daily practice. True abundance doesn't just arrive and stay, it flows. It follows care, intention, and quiet awareness. Here are a few gentle rituals you can begin today. First, pause each time you open your fridge. Even if only for a second. Offer a quiet thought. May all who eat from this fridge be nourished in body and spirit. Second, treat cleaning your fridge like a form of meditation. Wipe the shelves with presence. Rearrange the food with care. As you do, say softly, I make space for new blessings to enter. Third, tend to your sacred objects. Is the plant thriving? Is the rice fresh? Is the crystal clean? These small acts of attention reinforce a deep truth. When we take care of what we have, life gives us more. And always, express gratitude. Even for leftovers. Even for the most ordinary item. Gratitude magnetizes abundance. It shifts your energy and transforms routine into ritual. But don't just take my word for it. Let me share a few stories. In Singapore, there was a young cafe owner, tired, overwhelmed, and unsure of how to keep her little shop afloat. One evening, she came across a quiet teaching about placing coins and rice on top of the refrigerator. It felt odd, almost too simple. But with nothing to lose, she gave it a try. She didn't expect a miracle. But within a few weeks, something shifted. Customers stayed longer. Regulars returned more often, and began bringing friends. Months later, she reflected. It wasn't the jar, she said, it was how I started seeing my kitchen as sacred. That changed everything. A few time zones away, in California, a single mother was quietly rebuilding her life. One day, she heard about the Scarlet star plant and decided to give it a place of honor, right on top of her fridge. Beneath the pot, she slipped a handwritten note that read, "Let my home be a safe place for growth." She cared for the plant as if it were a promise. And within weeks, freelance opportunities began showing up, without her chasing them. It felt like life finally said yes, she told me, smiling. And in the mountains of northern Thailand, I once walked beside a young monk, quiet, gentle, no more than 20. As we paused under a Bodhi tree, he turned to me and said something I've carried with me ever since. Wealth doesn't knock at the loudest door. It enters quietly, where there is space, where it's welcomed without noise. So let me ask you, what kind of space are you creating? The fridge, the food, the jar, the coin, the cloth, it's not about superstition. It's about mindfulness. About how we relate to what nourishes us. And when we begin to honor even the smallest things, life responds. Before we move into our final reflection, take a moment to like this video and subscribe to Wisdom of the Dharma. Together, we are creating a new kind of wealth, one rooted in awareness, care, and spiritual clarity. Let's complete this journey with presence. Part 5, Final Reflections, Wealth as a Dharma Practice. Now that we've come to the end of this journey, let's return to the question we began with. Can something as ordinary as your fridge shape the flow of wealth in your life? The answer, of course, is both yes and no. Yes, because the way we arrange, clean, and relate to our physical space does affect the energy around us. Yes, Because intention is a powerful force. Yes, because small rituals, done with mindfulness, carry deep impact over time. But also know, because no object, no placement, no ritual can bring lasting wealth if the mind remains cluttered. In Buddhist practice, wealth isn't about the number in your bank account. It's about inner fullness. It's about freedom from fear. It's about having enough to live, enough to give, and enough to rest. You can place 100 lucky charms on top of your fridge, but if your days are filled with grasping, comparison, and anxiety, those symbols will mean nothing. And yet, if you live with clarity, gratitude, and presence, then even a simple jar of rice becomes a magnet for miracles. You see, the real altar is not the fridge. It's you. Your awareness is the sacred space. Your attention is the incense. Your intention is the offering. When we treat our homes as extensions of our practice, when we clean with care, cook with love, and open the fridge with gratitude, we turn everyday life into the Dharma. And that is the greatest prosperity. Because a mind at peace is never poor. A heart that gives is always rich. And a life rooted in presence is the most abundant life of all. So whether you start with a crystal, a coin, a plant, or simply a deep breath, start with care. Let wealth be more than a number. Let it be the way you walk, the way you eat, the way you greet the day. Let it be your practice. Thank you for joining us on this journey. If this video has brought you insight or comfort, please take a moment to like, share, and subscribe to Wisdom of the Dharma. Your presence here is a gift, and every small act of support allows these teachings to reach one more heart. Until next time, be well, be mindful, and may your home, and your life, always be filled with peaceful prosperity.